Hi, before we get started with today's review of Dickinson, I just wanted to pop on quickly to say that if you didn't already see, I was given access to screeners for the first two episodes of Hawkeye, so I was able to very quickly put together some reviews for those episodes. If you would like to watch those reviews, they are already published here on my channel. And if you would like for me to post further coverage of any of the upcoming episodes, especially once we get into December when I will have a little bit more time to actually work on videos, let me know in the comments of those reviews. I will be looking at viewer feedback to see how much or how little I engage in coverage of what's left of the series. So make sure you check it out and let me know.
Emily, you're a poet. You work so hard on your poems. You want every line to be perfect.
Hi, I'm LadyJenevia. This video is a spoiler-free review of Dickinson Season 3, Episode 7. The episode is titled The Future Never Spoke. I've had a few Hailee Steinfeld stans telling me that this is the episode that has Hailee's favorite scene in it. And I'm going to be honest, I tried to count the scenes so I could precisely match exactly what scene it was that she was singling out, but it ended up being a bit difficult for me to tell where things would count as the end of one scene and the beginning of a new scene, so I only have a vague guess of which one she was referring to, but we can all speculate on that together next week when the episode airs. It was requested that I continue to preview a song from the upcoming episodes, so today's song preview is called Cuckoo by Still Corners. As always, it will be linked in the description box, so feel free to go on over, give it a listen, and enjoy the vibes. This episode is very eventful and also very creative. Not to say that the other episodes aren't also creative, of course. Dickinson is a show that has always embraced that type of imagination in their storytelling. To be honest, I'm more so happy for actresses like Hailee Steinfeld and Tatiana Maslany to be landing big franchise gigs for something like the MCU, simply because it will give shows like Dickinson and Orphan Black more viewers. That's just my opinion. Everyone has one. This episode of Dickinson has multiple do not reveals, which I will be more than happy to share next week. I know some viewers don't like it when Emily and Sue don't have any scenes together. They didn't have any last week, but they will this week. So you can all get those tweets flying once all of that airs. If you watched my review of Season 3, the first spoiler-free review I published back when the first embargo lifted, you will have heard me say that Mr. Dickinson says a racial slur in this season. Well, it's coming. Just a general reminder that it is the O slur, so for all my fellow Asians out there, look after yourself and your mental well-being. I want you more than anyone to be aware that this is a thing that will happen. I still have strong negative feelings about it being included. I would love it if the episode were to finally air and for all of us to find out that they went back and edited it out and that it can just be an unfortunate memory for me and anyone else that has watched the press screeners, but you all can let me know if they kept it in. To be clear, for those of you who are watching this review that have never watched press screeners, sometimes, depending on what the project is, you can see a screener of something that hasn't actually been finished editing yet. I've seen screeners of a show where I could still see the green screen outside of a window. I've seen screeners of a show where the VFX weren't finished yet, so you could see things like blue screens in the background and overall just incomplete VFX. So even though you're seeing things like fire or explosions, it didn't actually look like a fire or an explosion. It looked more like the outline of an unfinished rendering of those things. You can compare it to something like if you have an artist that is doing a drawing and they do an outline, but they haven't put any of the color or the shading of whatever the thing is that they're drawing, it looked like that. Also, if any of you watched Drag Race back when the whole Sherry Pie scandal broke, they were re-editing those episodes quickly to cut as much of her out as possible before those episodes went to air. So when I say that they could just go back and cut that slur out before the episode has aired, I'm not saying that out of nowhere. I won't get my hopes up though. I'll just prepare for the worst while wishing for the best. For people who have been feeling like Lavinia isn't getting enough to do this season, we finally get to see a bit more of her in this episode. She will not be silent, nor will she be silenced. This is actually probably the best episode for Lavinia. It's been a while since I've rewatched episodes 8, 9, or 10, but episode 7 is vastly superior to anything that she has been given to do in episodes 1 through 6 of this particular season. The Dickinson parents. I don't care. Should I pretend to? Does the audience need me to pretend to care about them in this episode? Well, I don't. When I really think about it, I feel like this episode has a lot more going on for even more characters that I'm used to seeing get this much to do all at once. It's actually pretty impressive to think about in terms of the mechanics of storytelling and writing and editing effectively. I wanted to answer a question I got in one of my comment sections. Specifically, it was a question regarding episode 5. I know some people noticed that I was hyping up how messy and dramatic that episode was going to be before it aired, but part of why I was perfectly fine with hyping up that drama is because even though I knew people were going to feel some type of way about Austin saying that he wanted to divorce Sue and take full custody of the baby, I already knew they were going to work things out and agree to co-parent peacefully. So that's why it was okay for me. Anyway, I was asked if that episode was my favorite episode in regards to Emmy Sue content this season, and I said no, it's not an episode that has aired yet. It's in the second half of the season, but it's not episode 7. We're almost there though. It won't be the broader fan base favorite, but that's okay. We don't all have to agree on everything. I will talk more about that when it airs. Anyway, I think episode 7 is great for the fans who like to see more of the psychological and emotional probing and exploration for Emily as a character. I know that's not everyone's favorite thing, but episode 4 had that really lovely exploration of Emily's orientation. And I would say this episode isn't the same thing because that specific thing already happened, but I would say that in a very, very vague sense, it has a sort of conceptual parallel of exploring something within Emily in a really interesting and unique way that only Dickinson can do. I know it's another short review, but I really am in a hurry. I'm recording 4 videos back to back in a hurry directly onto my computer instead of doing it with my regular camera setup. I've just got a lot going on at the moment, but once we get into December, we will be able to take more time to talk about all of the things. There is still a lot coming up in the season. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and go see House of Gucci. It is out now. By the time this video goes up, I will have already seen it a second time. Yes, I know I just said I'm very busy, but I'm also making sure that I have me time, which is achieved by seeing House of Gucci. You know what? I should see it again this weekend. Life is too short to not see House of Gucci as many times as I can before it is removed from cinemas far earlier than I would like. The world can be so cruel. See you next week. Bye.
You work so hard on your poems, you want every line to be perfect, but I want the mess. I want you.